Hello, and welcome to a preachy episode of the Drywall Podcast. With us today, a newcomer to the industry, Johnathan Dansby, out of Fort Worth, Texas, joins us to discuss branching out on his own. And we also discuss his degree in Christian theology, cussing, and maybe getting fired from a preaching job. So fast forward, they fired you.
Wrap that up. They said, I'm 2 minutes in. We have this meeting. They say something's got to change, and it's got to change quick. And then they fire me 2 weeks later because I guess it wasn't quick enough.
Sure. Okay.
Change. So I hadn't even hit my 90-day mark, and they nixed me.
Bummer.
Yeah. So we moved back to the Fort Worth area.
We also discuss his employment for a franchise called The Patch Boys, his beginnings doing patches, and we also do a deep dive into Fresco Harmony sales and also how to market Fresco Harmony. My name is Nick Harmon, and I am the host of the Drywall Podcast. And for this month, the month of May, I'm very excited to announce our sponsor, TechDry Tools. TechDry Tools is USA designed, manufactured, and assembled in Omaha, Nebraska. Their lock design allows you to choose from 3 different size blades that fit right in your pocket. Follow TechDry on TikTok for lots of chances to win free swag. And also keep your eye out for new and innovative products coming from TechDry as well. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a free TechDry tool along with lots of other cool swag, compliments of CSR. You can find just about everything you need that is drywall related at CSR in Toronto, or you can go to csrbuilding.com. Right now, though, we need to get into this awesome episode, the 51st episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's do it. We have Johnathan Dansby. Yeah? Johnathan Dansby?
Dansby, yeah.
Jonathan, like the great...
More like a Z.
Dansby.
Yeah, so pronounce it more like a Z instead of
okay,
S.
Like the Great Dansby.
That's right.
As opposed to the Great Gatsby. And then out of Fort Worth, Texas, Johnathan is. Do you prefer Johnathan or John?
Johnathan.
Johnathan is a year into the trade, so to speak. He's how old are you?
I'm 30.
30 years young. So on the younger side of the spectrum of drywall finishers in the trade. And you called me up. You had been listening to the Drywall Podcast. Is that true?
That's right. Yeah.
That's how you found me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And then you said you Googled it or you were searching in podcast for like drywall, and I popped up.
Yeah. Just got this harebrained idea. Hey, I wonder if there are any decent drywall podcasts on. And
interesting.
Looked for a drywall podcast. Here's the first one. So it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Hit on it, and then
we'll try out this kook
from the very. Listen from the very beginning.
Cool.
So I think I'm all caught up.
Crazy. So, and you got sort of hooked. You enjoyed them, I guess. In other words,
I did enjoy them. And something you've said that you've tried to do is something I really appreciated, is having younger folks on, older folks on, folks in the middle, trying to get a range of experiences. And I think that's what I really appreciate most about it, is people from all over the place. It's funny, you've joked about this before. Rather high number of Canadians coming on the podcast, which I think is hilarious.
Love me some Canadians, man.
But it's great because there is that kind of cross-pollination.
Yeah.
between regions and union, non-union.
Correct.
Um, I didn't even know.
Global,
So,
dude.
yeah.
Global now. We just had Gary from Australia, and I'm gonna have a guy on from England next. And
Okay.
then we
Cool.
had Pia. Pia's originally from, he's in Canada, but he's originally from Brazil.
Yeah.
So I really want to start like, just all over the globe. No borders. There's no borders on the Drywall podcast, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, and that's what I think I like most about it.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason that Johnathan piqued my interest was because you were calling, sort of inquiring about branching out on your own. Maybe you were inspired by the podcast. Maybe you're like, I don't want to work for these people. Maybe you're kind of hearing what some of the other uh, um, interviewees on the podcast were talking about, and you were inspired, and you're like, hey, I can do that. I've got some skills around drywall finishing. Now, it's primarily finishing or hanging.
So really my skill set is patching. That's kind of
Okay.
the niche that I've been in for the last year. Um, I think you're right. Part of my interest in reaching out to you was this sort of all these things that come together. Listening to the podcast for a couple months now, wanting to try to step out and do more things on my own.
Yeah.
Because I did see that there was, you can. I'm just doing the numbers, and if
Yeah.
you work hourly, you're pretty capped
Yes.
on what you can earn. So your earning potential is capped.
But
But that
but
doesn't mean
you
you're
have
learning.
you have security though. There's there
Absolutely.
there is advantages to working hourly, and also even in the union, you've got
Right.
benefits and security. They set the standard and they pay really well. So there's
Yeah.
there's definitely different schools of thought.
And I don't even know if there's a union in my area. Maybe there is.
I don't
But
know.
I don't know. I haven't heard about it. Um,
I think the wages, like Albuquerque, the wages are pretty suppressed where you're at. That's what I've heard. It's
yeah.
like
No, I think that's right.
drywallers are getting beat up over there. Yeah.
Right. And so the thing for me when I'm looking at the numbers is okay, if you the more people you insert into the equation of people who are getting paid, the more you have to chop it up and divide it up. Um,
Yeah.
so if I'm getting rid of the middlemen, you can go straight to the homeowner,
Yeah.
or the contractor. Sometimes even with contractors, this guy that I've been working with these last few weeks on this remodel that he's contracting. It's a small crew, so it's him. He's hands deep, and two other
Okay.
guys, and then me. It's a funny story how we met, but even with him, um, he recognizes that there is a lot of value to my skills as a drywaller, even for
Yeah.
patching.
Sure.
And he was really pleased with the stuff that I've already done for the remodel. There's still more to do, but he's really pleased with that.
Good.
And so he sees the value in it, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure um, to what extent there is a he wants and I think other contractors might be this way for guys that they really like, that have a great skill set they want to add to their team, um, or that they just like working with, is
Yeah.
they kind of want them to be theirs.
Well, and you show up, you don't look like an idiot. You're wearing a collared shirt right now. I mean, that has value too. It's hard to find people right now that just will show up and like put in an honest day.
Right.
That's valuable, you know.
Yeah, and just earlier today, this morning, I did really my first estimate as like my business.
Okay.
So, and maybe I was the first one to show up
I
out of
don't
all
want
the
to
people he's contacted.
I don't want to skip too far ahead.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a little note here. First possible first job.
Oh yeah, I mean he's already agreed to. I mean verbally
Okay.
agreed to let me come work on this
Well,
patches.
now
So
careful with that. That I don't count any chickens until the check. Not only has the check hit the bank, but it has to clear.
cleared.
So,
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough. Hey,
So when
fair
the
enough.
check clears, you got the job.
There you go. All right.
That's just my gauge.
Well, hey,
So
that's if you
so
don't get
you
paid,
yeah,
you
if
got
you don't get
played.
paid, what are you doing? What are you doing? So you let's back up. You're a
Yeah,
college graduate, correct? Is that
college
right?
and masters. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what'd you get your master's in? Special thanks to Johnathan Dansby for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I look forward to seeing you flourish in this beautiful industry we call drywall. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to every Friday with a new episode on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. Tune in next week when we have Daniel Atkinson from Bracknell, England, our second English guest to be on the Drywall Podcast. Special thanks to TechDry Tool for sponsoring the month of May on the Drywall Podcast. TechDry Tools is USA designed, manufactured, and assembled in Omaha, Nebraska. Their lock design allows you to choose from 3 different size blades that fit right into your pocket. The Drywall Podcast is also brought to you by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket from our friends over at CSR. You can find just about everything you need at csrbuilding.com. Thank you so much for joining the Drywall Podcast today. I really appreciate it. And remember, keep drywalling.